This is session 8, fulfillment in relationship, trust. So this is our aspiration. We want to have trust in our relationships. At the same time, we have certain concerns like anger, irritation, fear, and we want to resolve them. So you'll see that this particular approach has been taken to make it more relevant and practically more applicable when the student is entering the campus. We do not have sufficient time to help the child explore into the proposals in depth. That is something that we are going to do in the second year. In the first year, looking at the way the student is looking at the institution, the student has come to the new campus. He has come with certain aspirations and has certain concerns, and how to cope up with the new situation, how to get acquainted, somewhat become a part of the new environment. So with that point of view, the PPTs have been prepared. And also we are able to see that there are certain issues which have to be dealt with quite seriously, because if they are not addressed properly in the beginning only, then these issues become kind of serious concern for the institution also. So as we have planned that in the first year, we have student induction program in which we have 9 modules, and one of the modules is UHV, for which we have 15 lectures, and each lecture is carrying 1.5 hours of time. So we have 22.5 hours of time allotted for UHV. In the second year, we have the UHV 2 course. We are talking about the harmony at 4 levels in detail, and we are also talking about ethics. And certain universities have also made provisions for elective courses in the third and fourth year. I can also see, as I have been experimenting in my institution also, that even in some universities, these electives have not been floated. We have ample scope to keep on discussing the content of UHV. For example, if you have the course on environmental science, you can introduce UHV there, the content on nature, existence, and ethics, and then you can relate environmental science to that. If you're talking about the Indian knowledge system, there again, you can talk about this content, and you can also talk about the various philosophies that have come in the Indian tradition. So you have to see how we can make a significant transformation in the living of the student. And this is just the initiation. So going by the SIP, we are trying to initiate some content, and gradually we are trying to help the child explore deeper and further. So in this session, we are going to talk about trust. The content that has been shared is similar to what we are sharing in the UHV2 course, right? But there are certain slides which are added here. So some assignment was given after discussing the health part, and that assignment is here. So before we begin the main part of the session, we can discuss this with the students, and then you can talk about trust. In previous sessions, we had explored for human being, physical facility is necessary, but relationship is also necessary. To live with fulfillment in relationship, right understanding of relationship is necessary. Check again if the unhappiness in our families amongst friends is more due to lack of physical facility. Now, if you look at this statement, when we are talking about UHV2 or the introductory workshop, then we had not mentioned about this part among friends. This has been added. So you can see how we are trying to relate the content more and more to the students. So the major issue in family and friends is that of relationship. In order to live in relationship, it is necessary to understand relationship. So going further, we are sharing the same content here. I will not go over it in detail. The same slides are appearing here. The same content is appearing here. Yeah, here we have made some change in the animation. Earlier, we were having all the 4 questions at one by one and the responses thereafter. Now here we have made some change. We are allowing the responses after every question. The same thing is happening here on the right hand side. So as you can see, this is something to do with the pedagogy. We have been experimenting with the pedagogy, and we are trying to make it more and more useful. One hand was raised earlier. Yeah, Maithili ji, you want to say something? Yeah, if no question is there, I'll proceed. So the same thing, we are trying to draw the attention of the student to the lack of competence being taken as lack of intention. Similar examples are given here. Now here, when you are delivering the content, you can pick some examples from students' lives on your own, but make sure that they clearly reflect the content, isn't it? The example that we take have to be decided in such a way that they are not misleading, they are not confusing, okay? They directly relate to the content being shared. And they are something which are universal. It should not be differentiating. So things like that have to be borne in mind when we are sharing the examples. Similar content here as we have in the regular UHV workshops. Now, here comes the concern. If you look at it, up to here, the content is the same. Now here we are adding the concern part. So resolution of concerns in relationship. By understanding trust, I have the feeling of trust in me. Okay, so I can see that the intention of the other is the same as my intention. I can see that the competence may be lacking in me also, not just the other. I begin to see the strengths of the other and not just the weaknesses. These are certain outcomes. When we feel opposed to anyone, no, we only look at the weaknesses of the other and maybe feel jealous of strengths of the other, even if we are looking at the strength. But now we are able to appreciate the strength of the other. So we are able to see that, yes, he has certain level of competence and certain incompetence. Now, this is a beginning of right evaluation with the feeling of trust. I can see that it takes time for me to develop my competence, and it is the same for the other. Thereby, I redefine my expectations and I become complementary. So, what are the concerns that we are able to see? Anger, irritation, opposition. These are certain things which are there in my conduct, in my attitude, in my feeling, in my thought, and that gradually gets reduced. So I'm able to relate in a more natural manner with the other. I discuss more freely, share more openly. So anger issues, which are a little common among the students of this age, isn't it? Or formation of groups getting irritated about each other, things like that. So we have to address this concern. And now comes the sum up. So trust is to be assured that the other intends to make me happy and prosperous. It is the foundation of relationship. I can see that the competence may be lacking in me also, not just in the other. And as an outcome of the feeling of trust, anger, irritation, opposition in me reduces. I start working on developing my competence first and become a help in the development of the competence of the other. Yeah, then there is a home assignment. Any questions so far? Anything that you'd like to get added or get readdressed as a concern or something to be added on the aspiration part? Ji, Prashant ji.
जी भैया, whatever slides you have shown, these are similar to our presentation also, na? Similar.
Yes, yes, yes. Only that concern part is added.
Okay, regarding the students only.
Yeah.
जी, thank you. Okay. Namaste.
Then there is a home assignment. There are 3 questions here. So how many persons in your family and friends do you have trust or intention? Unconditionally, continuously. You always make effort to improve mutual competence rather than getting irritated, angry, or having a feeling of opposition. In case you get irritated or angry, do you feel happy when you get angry? And when you express your anger, what is the outcome when you express your anger? Is it mutual happiness? What is the reason for your anger? Is it the other or you? So this is more explorative. Okay, so the student has to reflect. Talk to 2 close friends you may have lost due to lack of trust. Tell them you have realized the difference between intention and competence and that you want to reconnect. Write down their response or reaction. You may like to share it in the next session. So something which may be more reflective for a student. Yeah, so this is the part of trust, and we have to discuss it at length in 1.5 hours. Then we can invite questions. As we are able to see that the issue of trust is very important in relationship. It is the foundation of relationship. 1 minute, my mouse is not behaving properly. Yeah. Actually, that presentation was on, so it was not getting shared. I hope we are able to see the presentation now. So going over the feeling of trust again, now the concern here is shifting from reaction to response in relationship. So again, we can have interaction before the main session, going over the assignment once again. Then we can show the video right here, right now. I hope all of us have seen this video. It is a video directed by Anand Gandhi. It is there in 2 parts on YouTube. You can always download from there. And I'll suggest that when you are sharing the content, don't directly share from YouTube. Okay, download it and then share. Our videos do not have ads in between, but if you look at these videos, they might have ads. Okay, and the ads may be completely not in line with the content being shared. So if you download and then share, that would be better. So we'll discuss your observations after seeing these videos, interaction with each other. Was it reaction or response? Are the actions indicating right understanding, trust, and your own interactions, your own state, and what you can do to further develop yourself? So these are the points to be borne in mind before looking at or before watching this video. Now, then we can ask them to see the video. The issue of discussion is even a single happy person has an impact on others, and similarly, an unhappy person has impact on others. So after watching the video, then we'll talk about this. So there are 2 possibilities in our relationship. One is reaction and the other is response. So when it is the case of reaction, you decide your feeling based on the behavior of the other. Your feeling depends on whether you like or dislike the taste of the behavior of the other. If the other behaves properly, you have a right feeling and may behave properly. If the other misbehaves, you have a wrong feeling and you may also misbehave. Thus, your remote control is with the others. You are enslaved, your conduct is indefinite. So this is the case of reaction. My feeling is being dictated by the other. My conduct is being dictated by the other. I'm reacting. The remote control is there in the hands of the other. Okay, if the other presses one kind of button, I become excited. Another kind of button is pressed and I become depressed. I become angry, isn't it? So this is a reaction. Now going from reaction to response. So now when I'm responding, my feelings are decided by my own self on my own right. It is based on right understanding. You always have the right feeling. It is definite and unconditional. The behavior of the other is only an indicator of the state of the other. With that input, you decide your behavior to ensure mutual happiness. You decide your own behavior. You are self-organized. Your conduct is definite. So earlier, my conduct was enslaved. It was indefinite. Now it is self-organized. It is definite. Now the point to reflect here is that once the student has watched this video, he or she can reflect upon one's own events during the past few days and see whether he or she has been reacting or responding. Okay, whether the conduct was decided by oneself or somebody outside. Now, again, we can evaluate certain incidences from the video. So evaluate the feeling, whether they were reactions or response. So grandmother telling Shruti to elope. What do you think? Is it reaction? It is influenced by Shruti's likes rather than for the overall harmony in the family. It may make Shruti excited for some time, but what about Shruti's father? Even the grandmother got excited because that person, the child from Madras, he helped the grandmother carry that can on a cycle, and she got impressed by that child. So she made some opinion about the people from that particular region of the country, and then she shared certain words with Shruti, and Shruti got excited. And similarly, if you can see, it is a kind of reaction that is taking place. The complete evaluation is not taking place. The doctor helps the injured boy. Is it response? So we can say that yes, this is response. Shruti drops the bag when doctor does not arrive in time. Is it reaction? Yes, it is reaction. So this way, if you open up and let the students reflect on the incidences one by one, okay, then they will think deeper. Yeah, one thing that I find is somewhat lacking with the video is that there are some profane words being used. So we can also say that, okay, some profane words are used, but this is just to reflect the way it is taking place in society, right? Our main concern is the feeling that is reflecting through the video, the reaction or response that is reflecting through the video. And then let the students discuss it, okay? Maybe we are just calling this as the response. They may say that, yes, certain more incidences were there where response was taking place. Or someone may say that this is also reaction. So we have to keep it open. And our task is to help the student go back to the basics, observe the meaning of trust, observe the difference between intention and competence. So in place of judging something this way or that way, we have to let the response evolve from the students. Okay. And when they are maybe thinking aloud, we can ask them to think aloud. Why do you see that this is reaction? Why do you see that this is response? And then we can keep on drawing the attention to the difference between intention and competence. It would be a very good exercise, isn't it? I can also see that nowadays you can make short stories through AI on Meta. Okay, so maybe we can ask the students to create some stories and then try to distinguish between intention and competence. Such creative efforts can also be made. Our basic purpose is to be able to draw the difference between intention and competence and understand it. Auto driver offers tickets to the maid's daughter. Was it reaction or response? So here again, motivation was right feeling or pleasure? It was pleasure. So this way, there are a series of incidents taking place. So write 5 other interactions and evaluate them. And we can also place ourselves as an explorer in such situations and see what do we do, right? For example, the person who was skating, the child, okay, he paid only 10 rupees for the 12 rupee coconut. And as a reaction, the vendor who was selling it gave the 10 rupee coconut for 12 rupees. Now, maybe in businesses, people are prone to do something like this. And that's how unethical practices evolve in the businesses. So these are certain things which are, of course, helpful to the student to explore. But when we try to reflect through these incidents in our own life, we can be able to make out whether we are able to respond every time or we are reacting. So such exercises are not only helpful to students, but to us also. Okay, certain discussion is there in the chat box. Nice. So in your own interactions, find out the percent time you are responding and the percent time you are reacting. What is the effort required to progress from reaction to response? Now, if any question is there, then I can take up. The questions could be either regarding the pedagogy, how to share the content to the student in a more effective and efficient manner, or it could be something to do with the content itself. So whatever it may be, we can discuss it here. We do have time. So what is the effort required to progress from reaction to response to develop the right understanding, at least about relationship? This will be discussed further in this course and in detail in the EVG 2 course. To be aware of your own imagination, develop the right feeling within, to repair the damage from past reactions. Now, these are certain very important issues. So to sum it up, response is naturally acceptable, reaction is not acceptable naturally. Reaction could be positive or negative, but it is not based on right understanding and right feeling. We may be reacting outside and may not be expressing it outside many times, but that is also reaction and not naturally acceptable. Reaction is due to lack of assurance on the intention of the other. with trust or intention of the other, we respond every time. Then comes the home assignment. So note your behavior throughout the day, at home, in the school or college or workplace. List how many times you responded in your behavior and how many times you reacted. Calculate the percentage of reaction response in your behavior. Note any two situations where you reacted. Now explore to see what would have been your response in those two situations, everything else remaining the same. Make a 3 to 5 member team and record on mobile a 1 to 3 minute skit about what you all understand about reaction response. So this is a good exercise during the induction program. It also becomes a kind of video making activity. Okay, so we can ask them to make a skit and they can also play it in front of the students and a recording can be done. And there could be creative ways, which is little amusing also, somewhat joyous for the students also. They interact, they enjoy doing this. And in that process, they are also understanding. They are able to reflect. These kinds of skits also become a kind of illustration of how we do misbehave at times and how we can come out of it. And then comes the questions. Yeah, Anup ji is saying that we need to generate curiosity, exploration, and role play exercises for these examples. Yes, yes. But when you are fetching some example from the net or some video, then be careful. That's why I will say that when you are discussing about the content of reaction response, do not show any other video from the net. It may be in line, it may not be in line, but ultimately we are not able to make out from here whether the video is relevant or not. So make sure that you run the same video. Okay, do not show any video from your side. There could be some certain relevant videos. And if you feel that you are aware of certain videos which distinguish the reaction response, then please share with us. We'd like to have a look at it. Ji, any question? Nice. Then we are going to talk about the feeling of respect. And the concern here is differentiation. This is also a major issue. So the running thread is fulfillment relationship, which is our basic aspiration, respect. And the concern is shifting from differentiation to complementarity. So again, we'll discuss the assignment before the interaction over the new topic takes place. In previous sessions, we explored the feeling of trust. My natural acceptance, that is intention, is to be happy and make the other happy. The natural acceptance of the other is also the same. However, we may both be lacking in competence. So we make a program with the other essentially on the basis of our present level of competence with trust on the natural acceptance, that is intention. For this, it is essential to make right evaluation of our mutual competence, the competence of the other as well as my own competence, isn't it? Then the feeling of respect has been defined and the content is the same as in our UHV2 or introductory PPTs. No change here. Then this is the minimum level of minimum content of respect. The same thing is shared here. Now here we have added one slide. The header is differences. There are similarities at the level of self in terms of purpose, program, and potential. There are also differences between one human being and another on the basis of body, say age, gender, race, strength, on the basis of physical facility, wealth, post, on the basis of beliefs, isms, sects, information. So in living, are we trying to accept the other as being similar to me or trying to show that we are different from the other? Isn't it? So this question can be floated. Now, when you are talking about differences, then the students may lift some more differences. Okay, and then they may ask that these are only 3 bases of differentiation or other bases could also be there. So you can be open there, isn't it? or we can try to relate it. For example, the differences based on region, language, accent, those might also be there, right? So we can relate it either to the body or beliefs. This is quite possible. Now here we are not going over the differences one by one. We have tried to show all at once because this is not our primary focus. We can detail upon it in the introductory or VHE2 courses. So differentiation is disrespect, and we are aware how we differentiate in relationship. It is not acceptable naturally. It leads to opposition, movements. So in place of doing right evaluation, we often differentiate on various grounds. Differentiation may become a major concern in our imagination, which you would like to resolve. This line has been added. Verify, are you also differentiating or a victim of differentiation? Now we can see how differentiation has led to opposition, movements, fights, okay, uprisings in the history. So this is a very important issue, and this can be resolved only through the understanding and feeling of respect. So now this part is the same. The complete meaning of respect is that we are able to see that the other is similar to me and we are complementary to each other. So on the header, if you see, we have written resolution of concern, understanding, respect, and completeness. So we are trying to relate this complete meaning of respect to the resolution of concern. This has been modified. This is not there in the other PPTs. Now there are two columns made here. So differentiation with improper evaluation and complementary with right evaluation. So the differentiation could be on the basis of language, accent, skin color, caste, creed, sect, region, race, whatever, isn't it? There could be so many bases of differentiation. Language could be like, we know that there are so many local languages and dialects which are being spoken. Accent, yeah, so it has been heard many times that if a student from a particular region of this country goes to another region, okay, then sometimes they are mocked upon based on their accent. Then students are often mocked upon based on skin color, and this may lead to groupism and other things. And the caste, creed, sect, race, region. So differentiation often leads to groupism, rivalry, fights, which may become serious. Many times the students fight for such issues and the police has to be called to the campus. So at a very early stage, we are trying to address such issues, which are very grave, isn't it? But if we somewhat nip in the bud, do not allow such feelings to grow and manifest, if we help the student rightly evaluate at the very beginning of the journey in education, then these issues will not become prominent. So with complete understanding of the feeling of respect, we'll complement each other. There will be a major shift in focus from body to self. So with this kind of understanding, the focus shifts. In place of looking at the body, we start looking at the self first, okay? The understanding and the feeling in the self. From fault finding to empathy. Generally, the approach is finding faults, okay? This is a common kind of scenario among the students, okay? Laughing at each other, mocking at each other, finding faults whatsoever. Now, from there, the students can empathize, okay? If the other person is not able to do something rightly, right? Why is the other person not able to do this? How can I compliment the other? If the other person is not from so well-to-do family, okay, not having uh, modern gadgets and facilities, then I can empathize for the other in place of mocking at the other. Then you'll see that the students will be mocking at their fellows if they are not using a branded shoe, branded clothes, branded gadgets, right? Now, this is a very poor kind of scenario. In place of looking at the relationship, we are trying to distance the other from ourselves. So in place of finding faults, we are able to empathize. Again, shifting from language to feeling. Okay. So when we listen to a person from a particular region of the country, there would be a difference of accent, there would be a difference of usage of words, the approach. And sometimes these become the basis of groupism in the batch. So students from a particular state would be sitting together and dining together, from the other state, again, this can happen. Okay, and over the sharing of food or over the sharing of occupying of chairs, they may fight with each other. So shifting from language to feeling of relationship, shifting from showing off of wealth to its right utilization. If I have more money, it doesn't mean that I will show it off, but I will utilize it rightly for the well-being of the other. This kind of feeling can be developed. If I'm having some skill, I will not feel proud of it. Okay, but I will try to go for value-based skill. So shifting from skill to value-based skill. And another issue is very important. Shifting from mere intelligence to wisdom-guided intelligence. We are able to see that in elite institutes, intelligent students are coming. Okay, they would be toppers in competitive exams, but their development might be limited to mere intelligence. The wisdom might be missing. So they are not able to utilize their intelligence properly. Maybe they are utilizing their intelligence only to get a good package, a good job, feeling unconcerned about the rest of the society. Or they are wasting their time playing games which require intelligence, but a wise person would never like to go for that. For example, playing video games for hours together. Okay. Or using intelligence to do fishy things in the campus, making the cyber attacks on the systems in the campus. So they are intelligent because they are able to make such codes, but the wisdom is missing. So this shift is also very important. I'll say particularly among the institutes where intelligent students are going, so in those places or where intelligence is more valued over wisdom. So in those places, it is quite necessary so that their talent, their competence is put to right use. Yeah, Ranjan Upadhyay is saying how to avoid police visit in the campuses. Through this only, through the feeling of relationship among the students. Why the police have to come to the campus? Because the students are fighting with each other. Yeah, even the marshals are not supportive. Okay, but campus promote the regional beach among the students for cosmopolitan environment in the campuses. Yes, there could be so many other issues we are not mentioning here. Like body shaming has also become a common practice we can see in the campus. Okay, among boys and girls. And those who are sincere, those who are not so outgoing, they somewhat feel afraid of going to the campus if such issues are taking place. So in living, are we trying to be complementary to each other or trying to show that we are different from the other? What is our approach? See, differences will always be there. If you look at all the people who have joined this session, our faces are different. Our backgrounds are different, isn't it? Our maybe accent of speech is different. Our information about various content in education is different. So this difference is going to be there anyhow. But having difference and differentiating are two different things. We are not making this difference the basis of relationship. If you are trying to make this difference as the basis of relationship, right, then we may not feel related. Then we try to accentuate the difference. Then we try to show oneself above the other. But when we are able to see the feeling of relationship, we are able to see the potential, the purpose, the program of the self, and the level of competence in the self, then naturally we become complementary because we are all able to see that we are moving towards a common goal, that is mutual happiness and mutual prosperity in our life. So that particular approach has to be evolved. And earlier the better. In fact, during this SIP only, okay, if you are able to do this, the outcome is quite different. As you were mentioning in the previous session also, that we are not able to hear any serious offense of ragging for the past 4 to 5 years. While in the medical colleges, we are able to hear. Just recently, one medical college in Kerala reported about a serious ragging case and 4 to 5 students were rusticated from the campus. But this is not there with the engineering institutions. So somewhere this SIP is contributing. In my own institute, I found that we were having an introductory workshop in the campus, a 3-day workshop. So I thought that we can make the students, because we had limited number of students, sit in the workshop, and then they will be in a better position to understand it, because we are allotting all the 3 days in one go, and a better exploration would take place. But we found that some students bunked it. They did not attend. And I can see the difference in the attitude of the first year that is studying presently and the previous batch. In the previous batch, we ran session for 15 days in this particular mode. But in the current batch, and that I'll say was a mistake on my part, I could not see that this approach may not work for the students. Though the purpose was that this will make them listen to the whole content in completeness, but they did not work out. And we can see the difference in the attitude, the behavior of the student. So now VHE2 course has to address this problem very seriously. So to sum it up, respect is right evaluation with a feeling of trust or intention. Under evaluation, over evaluation, or otherwise evaluation is disrespect, and differentiation is disrespect. So respect on the basis of self. The other is like me. We are complementary to each other. The only difference is in our level of understanding. And then the program that follows is similar to what we discussed in the workshops. The feeling can be universal. The expression can be different. This line has been added based on local, cultural, geographical, social, family practices, and so on. Okay. So the feeling is universal, not the expression part. Isn't it? The purpose, program, potential of the self is universal, not the competence. Nice. So having said this, we can go for the home assignment. Yeah, Jagdish Bhai is saying that some students bunk in between the sessions. Yeah, so that's why I'll suggest that taking 1.5 hours every day and going for 15 days would be a better approach. Making them sit for 3 days or 4 days together and then delivering the whole content may not work. Because if some students, maybe due to some valid reasons also, maybe health issues, or some students get admission late, so they miss the whole content completely. In place of doing that, we can make them sit for 15 days in different sessions, and then during the period also we can talk to them separately, so that if some session has got missed out, we can address it separately. So such approaches can be taken. Ji Jagdish Bhaiya, is it fine? So the home assignment here, write down what would be the right evaluation of yourself. Mention any 5 points. We have revised the assignment completely here. Mention any 5 points. Recall when you were over, under, or otherwise evaluated in the past. How did you feel in each case? Share an example of each case. So I do remember that I had given this kind of assignment in one of my batches, and I could see one student wrote very clearly. I had asked them to write 10 examples. So he mentioned that he, after graduating, wants to participate in his father's business, but his father feels that no, he is not competent enough, and he said that this is under evaluation. Okay. And then he also mentioned clearly that he has a girlfriend, and her girlfriend keeps on appreciating him too much. Okay. And this is over evaluation. Then he also said that in one project, and he was not given any task, and people did not count his presence also. So he was otherwise evaluated. So if you share this content and give such exercises for self-reflection, the students are able to relate this content. And these become somewhat the keywords for them. I can see that over, under, otherwise evaluation is something that the students are able to grasp very well. Even after they have done UHV2, in some class, if you talk about some issue of concern, and then they will say, sir, this student is over evaluating himself. So they are able to grasp such keywords. The second assignment is, how do you feel when the other differentiates in relationship with you? How do you feel when you differentiate or try to show you are special or different? Share 1 or 2 incidents in these situations. Then what have you been able to explore regarding complementarity in your close relationships? Give 1 or 2 examples of how you can be complementary to a person from a different age, region, sect, belief, etc. Okay, so here we can give them some task also to show their complementary. Maybe one student from Gujarat and another from Bengal. Okay, how can you be complementary? One person from Bihar and one student from Kerala. Okay, one student from Andhra and one from Punjab. So we can give them some teamwork to be done together and show how they can be complementary and how they come to differentiate at the level of feeling, isn't it? How they nickname students from a different background or different region. This is a very common practice. Students nicknaming. Students from Bihar, students from Bengal, students from South, students from North, students from Northeast in particular. They have some common names which become jargons also. And these practices have to be done away with. We have to take care of such practices. So questions can be invited here. Yeah, if any reflection, any question is here, you may please share. No question means everything is clear. That's very nice to see. Nice. So I'll stop sharing here this part. Then we can go to the next part of the content. This is to do with other feelings in relationship. So we'll talk about other feelings in relationship now. And the concern would be like competition to excellence, infatuation to love, and few more. So again, interaction before the main session. So we can discuss the assignment and we can give the assignment in such a way that they submit in writing. Every day you give some assignment, and in the first year when they come, no, they are little docile also. They will obey what you say. So they may be ready to do these assignments also. Maybe at a later stage, if you say, they may not comply, but at this stage, they do comply. So you can ask them to submit the assignments in writing. Now we talk about the other feelings. So far, we discussed the feeling of trust and respect. Trust is the assurance that the natural acceptance of the other is to make me happy and prosperous. To make a successful program with the other, it is essential to rightly evaluate oneself and the other. And we have seen that right evaluation is respect. So can you see that trust and respect are at the base of any relationship? Now, having said this, we can talk about the feeling of affection. The content is similar. No change here. Opposition, jealousy are an indication of the absence of affection. So these are again concerns, like opposition, jealousy. Jealousy due to physical features, jealousy due to physical facilities, jealousy due to certain likes or dislikes. These are common scenarios. Now, one concern that is being addressed here is ragging. Now, why is ragging taking place? Why the student who is studying in the campus trying to rag the student, a newcomer? Okay. If you talk to the students, they will have their own reasons to share. Why do they do this? In fact, one reason that I have found is that the seniors feel that if they do not rag the juniors will over-evaluate them, okay, and start troubling the seniors. So they are in somewhat fear also. On one hand, they are trying to make the students afraid of them. On the other hand, they have fear inside. In fact, making somebody afraid and carrying fear within go hand in hand. If I'm having self-confidence, why will I make somebody feel afraid? So when we are not able to see the relationship with the newcomers, then we may tease them, make fun of them just for the sake of fun. We are not concerned about its impact on the newcomer. Of course, it hurts others, and that is ragging. It is hurting, very hurting. Many times we have heard that students commit suicide due to ragging, or they carry certain impressions about themselves which they carry for the whole life. Something which has been very hurting, something which has been deeply molesting the feelings of the child. So can you recall how it feels when you are hurt by someone? For how many days or months or years it disturbed you? Is it wise or a normal mental status to seek enjoyment by hurting others? A good thing is that a Lingdo committee was formed maybe about 20 or 22 years back. And after that committee gave its decision, ragging became a crime. Isn't it? That helped a lot. But even after that, the ragging had been continuing. And essentially, when we make such codes of conduct, it contains the problem, but does not actually solve the problem. So thankfully, such codes are there in place. The rules and laws are there in place. And we have to complement it by working at the level of feeling. Okay, so the laws are necessary so that if somebody crosses the limit, the committees can take care of it. Okay, but before somebody crosses the limit, what we can do to transform the student is our responsibility. So moving from ragging to meaningful interaction with a feeling of affection. So how do you feel when a relative or friend comes to your family? Now we can see that a newcomer has come to my campus. He's my family member, isn't it? Now I have a greater extension of my friend circle or my family. We feel happy about it. We want to share many things with them and also listen from them. This exchange of feelings and words satisfies all of us. This is interaction. So here we feel connected with them, take care of their immediate needs, and facilitate them to set their things in order. So this is just like giving a red carpet treatment. My younger brother and sister have come to the campus, isn't it? They are going to be a part of my family. So how to join with them? And I've seen how effectively during the SIP, when they are doing cultural activities together, when they are when seniors are taking the juniors for industrial tours or visit to historical places or organizing workshops for the junior students, then they join together. In fact, in our campus, we also make them paint together, okay, the campus. So they are painting together, they are sharing together, okay. Such creative activities can be introduced, which make the thing playful, joyous, as well as the interaction becomes more and more healthy. They start complementing each other rather than mocking or distancing from each other. So meaningful interaction versus ragging. Of course, a welcoming, healthy interaction is a must because we are a member of the same institute family. We'll be staying together for 3 to 4 years. Thus, we are related to each other. We want to know each other so that we can be of help for each other in the process of understanding and learning together. So think of ways to develop interaction with affection rather than ragging. Now here, a lot of creativity can be done. Okay, we can introduce a lot of creative activities here. So making teams where different batches are joining together, right? Another kind of mistake I found is that during the early days at the campus, sometimes earlier, not now, the orientation program used to take place in batches of different departments. So even the students of different departments could not get to see each other or meet each other. And that was more differentiating, okay, at the level of department also. So we have to see how we can enhance the interaction between seniors and juniors, between students of first year of different departments. Okay, can we team up like that? Can we introduce more and more such activities where they take help of each other, they guide each other, okay, they join each other. So that kind of environment has to be introduced. So with the feeling of affection, we can work for excellence in each other. Now here the content is similar. So we have introduced excellence, this word here in the slide, and then we are talking about excellence here. So we, all of us, want to excel in life. Let us understand excellence. Is it about being better than the other in a particular area of life or something else? We'll also explore the program for excellence. Is it through competition or through collaboration? So we can open up such issues and then let them explore. In fact, this competition is a kind of very tricky word at this stage because the students have come to the campus after being successful in some competition. And we are trying to negate competition here. So that becomes self-contradictory, isn't it? So when we are talking about competition, we have to do in a very wise manner. In what sense we are trying to deny competition? And could there be other ways also of entering the campus? Right? So if you try to negate competition all at once, the students will either negate or either reject what you're saying or try to negate through their arguments. So our focus is to draw their attention to collaboration and show to them how collaboration can be more fruitful than competition. So in place of ruling it out just by saying that this is wrong or bad, we can say that, see, with a feeling of trust, respect, affection, you are able to collaborate. And what happens when you go for competition? So we have to gradually open up this issue in place of just harping upon competition and saying that this is bad or wrong, because that may not be acceptable even to the management at times. So we can define excellence here. Excellence is to understand harmony and live in harmony at all the 4 levels so that it ensures continuous happiness. Making effort for excellence and competing with the other is not the same thing. In excellence, one helps to bring the other to his or her level. In competition, one avoids the other to come to his or her level. Now, one change that we have made here is that we have not defined reverence in the beginning. We have first defined excellence, and then we are defining reverence. So when you're talking about the 9 feelings in UHV 2 course, we are going over the feelings one by one. Here, we are trying to address the issues one by one. So that's why we have brought this feeling of reverence later on. Now, for self-reflection, how many students in a class can understand and how many students can come first in a class? Now, such issues, if you open up, then they are able to distinguish between excellence and competition. So everybody can understand the subject. Okay, everybody can get 100 out of 100, but only one person can come first. Now, here again, I'll say that there are certain things to be understood by us also. So IITs also have been promoting and this relative grading. And it has been studied for a long time that what should be the basis of grading, absolute or relative. And then they came to the conclusion that relative grading is better. Now, why they came to the conclusion, in fact, you can see some videos also on YouTube, which are there, that if you grade absolutely or in absolute sense, the students, then their performance gradually falls and they expect the question papers to be easier. They expect that they have to study less, and things like this appear as a trend. So that's how the institutions decided to go for relative grading. But there's a third option. So one option is no competition. The second option is competition. And the third option is excellence. So having competition would be better than having no competition, because the student may become dull. The student may become lazy, may drop the effort also. But when the student is motivated towards excellence, he or she does better than working for a competition, because the other is not the benchmark for oneself. Okay. Here again, another thing to understand is that I do look at the other while working for my excellence. I do draw inspiration from the other. I do compare also sometimes with the other, right? But that comparison is meant for drawing inspiration and not to perform better than the other. So if you see here also, when we are having the RP development sessions, we are sharing the content, we are listening to each other. Might be also comparing that, yes, this person has done so well, how I can do so well in my workshops or in my classes. So we are comparing also, and comparison is an activity in the self at the level of thought. You can see that we have two activities, analyzing and comparing. So comparing itself is again not wrong. It is an essential activity of the self. It is there in the self all the time, isn't it? What is the basis of comparing? That is important. So when you are addressing the issue of competition, then you have to be clear about such issues. So I mentioned that when the students say that if you do not compete, we'll become dull, then we can open the third option. So there are 3 options: no competition, competition, and working for excellence. If you address the 3, then they will of course naturally choose excellence. Similarly, whether comparing with the other is wrong or right. So comparing is very much there. It is a natural part in our interaction. But whether I'm comparing to go over the other or I'm comparing to draw inspiration from the other, this is something to be looked into. So when I compare to draw inspiration, I emulate from the other. Okay, I try to look into the good things about the other and how I can have these kinds of skills or competence in me. I try to work for that. Okay, this is something like an emulation. Competition is different, and I'm not trying to be like the other, but I'm trying to somewhat show down the other. I'm trying to somewhat show myself above the other. So my feeling is completely different. I'm uncomfortable that way. So all can understand, all can achieve excellence, but only one can come first, be special. If any question is there, then please share. Yeah, Jagdish Bhaiya is asking why care and guidance are not included in VH1. Yes, Bhaiya, there is a limitation of time here. In 1.5 hours, we have to discuss several issues. So if you try to address all those issues, you will not be able to take up questions. So that's how care and guidance have not been taken up. The issues that we are trying to address are the feeling of affection so that they are able to overcome jealousy. Okay. They are able to focus on excellence rather than competing with each other. And they are able to understand the meaning of love in place of getting infatuated. That's why selectively some topics have been chosen. If time permits and we feel that we can introduce that, well and good. Otherwise, no, we'll have to plan somewhat selectively here. Ji.
Kumar, at this point now,
Yeah.
we can definitely add this thing about these three options. One slide with these three options.
Okay, Bhaiya.
Competing, not competing, and excellence.
Ji.
Yesterday in Gopal Babuji's this one class, it was very nicely explained. These two options were explained rather than three options.
Ji.
So,
We
those
can add
kind of things will be very useful for the participants to grasp it. Yeah.
जी भैया गणेश जी गणेश पटालकर जी you have raised your hand.
Yes, yes. Namaste, sir. Namaste to all.
Namaste.
Namaste. I have seen that we are stating the examples. As for example, for evaluation, it's rightly evaluation or evaluation. We stated the example of girlfriend, boyfriend, and also we starkly mentioned the ragging. So my concern is, means last time also I have talked about this, that the words like stress, depression, or the ragging, girlfriend, boyfriend. So these words, means these things are exist in the with the students, but as a content deliverer, is it how much it is appropriate to make them aware about these words? So my concern is that isn't they are affecting adversely to the students, because that is not the case that everyone is having girlfriend or boyfriend, but by giving the examples of like this, we may differing them to some thoughts. Isn't it happening? So this is my concern. So
Yeah, if I look
AJ.
at my assessment, it may be the case that not all students are having boyfriends or girlfriends. Yeah, but maybe this is there at the level of desire. If you ask them to make a list of desires and then raise this kind of issue, okay, so they will say in affirmation that yes, we'd like to have something like that. So this is not something completely alienated. They are familiar with these concepts, okay, and sooner or later they get entangled also in these issues. So we can open it up for discussion.
G. G.
Yeah, you can see one thing, just to mention here, that we are not introducing concept like LGBT here, because this is not a common scenario in our country. But maybe if you have to run SIP in Europe, okay, then you will have to open up on those issues also.
G. G.
Ji.
Thank you.
But I think one important thing is that our focus is on the holistic solution. And we are taking this problem as only as some examples.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll keep on deviating from, the core content, deviating from the holistic solution.
Yeah.
So
So
we
like,
have to bring in these problem kind of things very, very selectively and discuss them with solution. Like this third option is a solution, and it is a holistic solution.
yeah, and one approach that has been taken, no, like we are talking about the aspiration as well as the concern. So the concerns are the problems. So as a policy also, we thought that we should be including these concerns. Maybe there are some institutions where ragging never took place. Should we be talking about ragging at all or not? But that is a very rare scenario. That's why looking at the way the colleges are functioning today, we have brought about all these issues. So there could be cases where ragging is completely alien concept. People are not aware at all of ragging. That could be there, but we do have to talk about ragging.
For the ragging kind of thing, now this we can think about reducing that, because for the first year they are the ones who are the recipients of ragging. Only next year they will have to choose, whether to rag or not to rag.
Yeah, so they are a victim of ragging, bhaiya, and then
Yeah.
we can ask them whether this is acceptable naturally or not. And if not, then we can say that we have mentors and we have committees to
Yeah.
take care of that. Ji.
Yeah. I mean, if the content is getting more in this particular presentation, then we can put some of these things for further discussion later on.
Ji.
Yeah. We have 30 minutes left.
Ji, bhaiya. So on one hand, I'm looking at the PPT. On the other hand, I'm also looking at the clock. So I'm going by the time. So competing to be special and complementing for excellence. So when I'm competing to be special, I feel that I'm special. I have to be above others. And somehow I have a feeling of position in me for the other. When I'm complementing for excellence, I'm able to see that the other is like me and we are complementary to each other. So we can see these differences. Competition is relative. There is no completion point here. Excellence is absolute. So I can decide within me that this is the desired state and here I have to be. It is not in comparison to somebody else. I have feeling of position here. When I'm competing, here I have feeling of relationship. I prevent the other to come to my level. I make effort to increase the difference, may even dominate, exploit, manipulate. So many things can be done. But when I am complimenting the other, I help the other to come to my level. I make effort to learn from the other with the feeling of relationship. Here I operate on the basis of preconditioning, while complimenting, I operate on the basis of my natural acceptance. Then here I over-evaluate or under-evaluate myself and the other. But when I'm complimenting, I do right evaluation of myself and the other. So while competing, I'm dictated by the other becomes my reference. But when I'm complimenting for excellence, being clear about what excellence is, I'm self-referential. I'm self-confident. In fact, we can see within us and try to make out the meaning of excellence. Okay, to be able to see the meaning of excellence, I need to look within. But to compete with the other, I need to look outside. Isn't it? Nice. So can you see the difference and which way do you choose to go? Then we can talk about gratitude. Okay, the same content is here. We can share that gratitude is significant in the development of relationship. Particularly, the students do need to feel grateful to their parents, do need to feel grateful to the teachers, to the college, isn't it? Now it's so happened that with modernity, money has come to the fore. Everything is being evaluated in terms of money. So students feel that if I am paying so much of money, these many facilities should be there in the campus. Okay.
Bhaiya,
And
good afternoon, Bhaiya. Myself, Shanmuga Priya, Bhaiya.
yeah, good afternoon.
Good morning. Like this gratitude part, before that itself, I wanted to talk to you, but now I provided with the mic. Since you are posting this gratitude, I wanted to share my experience in this also. Then I will come to my question that I have posted already in chat also.
Okay.
Bhaiya, that gratitude point of view, when it was in COVID time, Bhaiya, by the time I was struggling to complete my PhD, one of my friend introduced the writing gratitude in the notebooks for whatever we already provided. So I made a journal during COVID time since we were finding some difficulties in on my studies and also family, and that situation is for everybody it was challenging. So I've started writing gratitude 1 page per day by a long face notebook. It's around 20. I started writing. So whatever I started writing that started happening to me. Like since like whatever going to happen also, I felt started writing. Thank you, universe, for the things happened, or there was an improvement in my PhD that I have published paper that like that I started writing. The sentence structure is like that. Thank you, universe, for the improvement in my PhD, like that. That I will write it in my own mother tongue, Tamil. So whatever I wrote, Baya, after 2 years, 3 years, I was opening now and I am seeing everything happened. It was like a miracle to me. By the time it was not happened, but daily I started writing for a year or for many months. So if now I am opening that and then I am seeing that, that already happened actually. That way, even in UHU 1 and 2 also I used to share so that people will follow, or 1 or 2, those who really wanted to find some solution for their problem or issues, they can find. That way, like how we are relating this to our UHV content. By the time I was not into UHV actually.
A few things here. To a large extent, it can be a coincidence also.
Okay, okay, Bhaiya.
Second thing is that when I feel grateful,
Yes.
then certain things do transform in my interactions. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay,
if
Bhaiya.
I'm also grateful to my colleague, I'm grateful to the management. So they are
Yes,
also value it.
yes,
So let's say
Bhaiya.
you are getting reactions earlier from the colleagues or the management, and now you are getting a proper response. And that will help you in getting such kind of achievements also.
Yes, but whenever I'm going to classes also, I will ask at least for the semester, I will make them to write for 10 to 20 things. But I could see that they feel difficulty in writing since we cannot force anything. But a few people used to write. They like I wanted to impose them, I wanted to tell them, but nobody, like not many took as it is. At that time also I explored that we should not force to anyone. Automatically it should come into their mind. And also like there are particular situation they will understand, they will relate with our EHV content, they will understand when time is coming. If they are not facing really this problem nowadays, of course they are not ready to if we are talking about some solutions for the unexisting problem for them.
Nice, nice, Didi.
Yes. One more question, Bhaiya. Actually, since we are taking care of our sibling or relative, we are trying to guide. But since they were in one major problem, like one person, like there was one big problem for her. So even though if we are in a position to care and guidance, if we are telling some guidance to him, he is not at all understanding in right way. Instead he is taking it in opposition, so that we are feeling bad and we are also started maintaining gap. So that I don't want, actually we don't want, but because of his reaction it is happening. So because of that, overall if I'm seeing the last 2 years, there was an increase in the gap, but our aim is to give the care and guidance only. So how to make them understand, by it's very very difficulty for us.
Yeah, so by right evaluation, see, a person
Okay.
will be physically challenged.
Okay, Bhaiya.
And the person feels that he or she can walk by himself or herself. Now,
Okay.
you try to go and help the other may feel offended because you are
Yes.
trying to show that the other is incapable and one may not.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to rightly evaluate the other, the feeling of the
Bhaiya. Okay, okay, Bhaiya. We are evaluating rightly, Bhaiya, but they are not understanding in that condition. Even though I am okay with, I am relating, okay, we should not overreact, we should guide them, we should not get angry, we should not make the gap big. Like that, I am feeling, but they are not ready. So I don't know how to approach them.
Yeah, so see, first of all, student will not help. So when you are rightly evaluating, share that evaluation also.
Okay, okay.
Of trust. Okay, if you do not share the evaluation, you may be saying that I am rightly evaluating, and the other may feel that you are under evaluating.
Okay, oh, okay, Bhaiya.
Isn't it? For example, there are slow learners, fast learners, and medium learners in a class. Okay, so we rightly evaluate them and then we help them. But if you show to the other that you are a slow learner, that's why you have to come for the extra class.
Okay,
You may feel
okay,
offended,
okay.
isn't it?
Okay, Bhaiya. Okay. That way I will apply that right evaluation concept in all the time. Okay, Bhaiya. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Nice, Didi. One more hand is raised, but let me go over the content once and then I'll take up the question. So this gratitude is very significant in the development of relationship. So gratitude for all the help that we receive. So let us list down the help we are receiving from family, friends, teachers, society, and it could be related to food, shelter, etc. So make a list of your needs, for example, food that you are using throughout the day. See the people and the natural environment which are immediately responsible to fulfill this need, for example, cook. In the next level, make the list of people who helped in growing the food, the processing part, transporting part, all those things. A similar thread could be seen for the utensils in which we are eating, machines which are used for cooking, furniture on which we are sitting while eating, construction of the dining hall, etc., etc. So can we count the total number of people who are directly or indirectly involved in ensuring just one meal for you? Can money provide it if the people involved do not participate willingly in the process? Now, this will gradually draw the attention of the students to the mess workers, the sweepers, the watchmen, okay, the people who are there to take care of various activities in the campus, the gardeners, and they will start appreciating them. They will start respecting them, feeling grateful to them. So for self-reflection, this is something similar to what we discussed in the workshop. I will not go over it again. These three options are there, and then we have to, these three questions are there, with two options each, and we have to reflect upon that. Again, a similar thing here. So here we draw the attention to love, the feeling of love, and that is the feeling of being related to all, which is the complete value. And then we can open up this for discussion. This is somewhat interesting for the students because they are, of course, concerned with the puberty that is getting developed in the students. So they are able to understand these issues about lust and infatuation. Content is similar. So in a very sincere and respectful manner, we have to address these issues. We have to make sure that there is no loose talk in the class while you are discussing this. Okay, there is no mocking as such of any student or even a faculty, right? But at the same time, we are able to address this issue in a very versatile manner. So right understanding based on natural acceptance is that feeling is the love is feeling of being related to all, responsible towards all, giving to all, and the continuity is possible. So once trust, respect, affection, care, guidance are ensured within, then the feeling of being related to all follows naturally. So we can see now our relationship beyond our close family, our close friends. We can see the relationship with all. So to sum it up, the content is the same. Okay. I'll not go over it again. Then comes the assignment. So here 4 questions are provided. Suggest ways in which we can develop affection among different batches in institute, students of the same batch. Make a list of people that you take inspiration from. Evaluate if they are living in harmony or making effort to do so. Why we have given this question? Because many times the students draw inspiration from pop singers, okay, or programmers, or filmy actor and actresses, people like this. But they are not actually looking into the lives of these people. They are just looking at the skill and they try to draw inspiration from them. They will try to make their looks similar to them, their way of speaking, talking similar to them. And they try to emulate them. But this is not somewhat leading them to the excellence part. Evaluate the feeling you have for them. Is it over, under, or otherwise evaluation? Evaluate if they are helping others to live in harmony. Note a few things that you would like to learn from them. List a few steps that you need to take to work for excellence. The next question is make a list of people in your family, in the college, and in the larger society who are directly or indirectly participating in fulfilling your needs. What is your feeling for them? How is your interaction with them? What is your contribution in terms of understanding, feeling, physical facility to them? So many times, students come to the campus, but they may not have a smartphone. Some of them may not have a laptop while the courses demand it. So they will ask for that, and the parents would say that we just have paid the fee for you and we are not in a position to pay for the laptop. So you'll have to wait for 1 year or 6 months. And then they feel irritated. So they're not able to feel grateful for all that has been done, and they start feeling irritated for what has not been done. And this may sometimes lead to lack of communication, lack of affection among the parents and students. So the feeling of gratitude has to be addressed very rightly. Then distinguish between love and infatuation. What do you mostly think about, love or infatuation or something else? Okay. So here again, while you're discussing, we can focus more on love, try to relate it to infatuation, and the lust part can be slightly discussed, so that it is not something as a focus of attention for the students. And here now comes the questions. Then having discussed this, we can talk about the society. So understanding role in society, if you look at the title, it is not harming the society, it is understanding role in the society. Because the students at this age may not be so much concerned with society, but they are able to see that they have a role to play in the society. Then how they can contribute towards a common human goal in the society at the level of institution, state, nation, world. So when they're opting for a job, when they are going for a project work, if they are selecting some thesis topic, how they can select the topic rightly. So the interaction before the main session, the discussion over the assignment given yesterday. Then content is similar here. Okay. So we'll explore about all this. Yeah, in fact, we have to make one correction here. Scope of the systems, and right now we have written in lecture 18, this part can be removed. And in fact, we're not also going to discuss the scope of the systems here. So maybe this sentence can be removed. So these 4 common human goals are there. We have added certain words here, like happiness was already there. We have added health here. We are talking about prosperity. Then fearlessness, and we have added the word justice here. Similar questions are here. The right priority is placed. And then a reflection on the current state of the society. I'll not go over it. It is something that we have been discussing time and again. Now here again, one correction will have to be made here. We have to add health and we have to add justice here when we are discussing about the common goal. Now, having said that, we can talk about the 5 dimensions of society and we can relate to the common goals. And then we can talk about education and sanskar. Now, if you look at the sanskar part, there are 3 words here: commitment, preparation, and practice of living in harmony. So this has to be understood properly. So the commitment comes from the understanding part. Now, with that, I have to acquire some skills also. So that is preparation. And the practice is doing it again and again so that it becomes a part and parcel of my living. Now, here we have tried to draw attention to the common graduate attributes. So there are 6 common graduate attributes. Now we can explain to the student that if you graduate from here after 4 years, you have to make out whether these attributes are visible in you or not. So are you able to see a holistic vision of life, or your focus is only on placement and package? Are you having socially responsible behavior, or you are still differentiating and competing? Are you having environmentally responsible work, or you are ready to destroy the nature for the sake of package and salary? Are you able to ensure ethical human conduct? Okay, in your character, are these things visible? Having competence and capabilities for maintaining health and hygiene. If that is the case, then your health must have improved during your stay. Otherwise, it will deteriorate. Then respect for excellence, merit, and gratitude for all. Looking at the tradition, we are now in a better position to admire the excellence that has been there in the tradition in place of just finding faults with our tradition. Many times the students leave the campus with a feeling that, oh, this institute did no good for us, or our country is not good to live in. I have to move abroad and there only I can have an enjoyable life and things like that. So many times they are not able to respect the excellence in the tradition, right? Now, having discussed about the common graduate attributes, we can show to them that these are the 12 program outcomes which are presently there in the syllabus. And every time when they appear for the examination, the question papers will try to relate the questions to the course outcomes or the knowledge levels or the program outcomes. Okay, so you have to be clear about this. Now, when it comes to engineering, we can see that the first 5 outcomes deal with engineering, and then you can see that these issues have been dealt with when we are talking about the graduate attributes. What we are trying to do, we are trying to change the order so that excellence comes first and then comes skill. So in UHV2, we'll discuss about the systems in more detail. And then we can show that by fulfilling the 5 dimensions, how we can have orderliness from family to the world family, step by step. Yeah, some questions are there in the chat box, but maybe I'll complete this part first and then take up. So this transformation is possible, moving from inhuman society to humane society. Then to sum it up, it is something similar that we share in the workshop. So the assignment here, 3 questions have been put up here. Look at your aspiration and map them to the common human goal. And what do you conclude from this? Check your list of concerns. What is the root cause? Make a list of 5 things you can do to address the root cause. Then during your time in the institution as a student, list 5 things you can contribute to complement your institution in realizing the human goal. These 3 assignments are there, and then the questions can be taken up. Next comes nature. So the content is quite similar to what we have been doing in the introductory workshop or UHV2. So this is session 13, understanding our role in nature. So contributing towards harmony in the nature. Yeah. So this is what we have been discussing earlier also. Now there is a video here, a very nice video. I will appreciate Rajul Bhaiya for introducing such content in our PPTs. This is there on the YouTube.
Ever wondered what really makes up the world around us? In this video, we're diving into the fascinating concept of nature as a collection of countless units. From the tiniest atom to the massive sun, we'll explore how everything fits into 4 unique orders: physical, bio, animal, and human. By understanding these, you'll see how interconnected our world truly is. Ready to explore the secrets of nature's building blocks? Let's get started. Number 1. Nature, collection of units. When you hear the word nature, what comes to mind? Maybe you envision majestic mountains, dense forests, vast oceans, or sprawling plains. But what is nature, really? Nature is the collection of all the units around us: the air, soil, water, plants, trees, animals, birds, other human beings, and even distant things like the sun, the moon, and other planets. When we look around, we see all kinds of units. For example, in a classroom, there are units like chairs, tables, notebooks, pens, a blackboard, a projector, and a laptop. Outside the classroom, in a garden or forest, we encounter other types of units like trees, shrubs, butterflies, flies, birds, animals, ponds, and stones. And when we look even further, we see the sun, the moon, stars, and the earth itself. All of these are units too. Some units are incredibly small, like atoms and molecules, so tiny that we can't see them with our naked eyes. On the other hand, some units are massive. Our Earth, for instance, is a large unit with a mass of 5.97 into 10 to the power 24 kilograms and a diameter of about 12,700 kilometers. The Sun is an even larger unit with a mass approximately 330,000 times that of the Earth. And many of the stars we see at night are much larger than the Sun. All these units, whether small or large, collectively make up what we call nature. Each unit exists as an individual entity, occupying a certain volume with a definite shape and size. These units can be counted one by one, but their sheer number is immense. Number 2, 4 orders. To better understand this vast collection, we classify these units into 4 distinct groups or orders based on their common intrinsic properties. First, we have the physical order, which includes units like air, water, soil, and metals. Order, encompassing grass, plants, and trees. Then we have the animal order, which includes animals and birds. Finally, there's the human order, which of course includes human beings. Classifying units in this way is useful because it helps us understand the basic properties of each order. By grasping these properties, we can better comprehend the characteristics of all units in nature. Moreover, understanding the interactions between a few units of each order allows us to appreciate the interconnectedness of all units in nature and the role of human being with respect to each order and the entire nature. So next time you look around, remember that nature is a magnificent collection of innumerable units, each playing its part in the grand tapestry of life. Do ask yourself, as human beings, what is our part in it? So in the next few videos, we will explore into the grand design of nature. Thanks for watching. If everyone
Yeah, so very nicely made in a very professional manner, I'll say, very sophisticated manner. Thanks to Rajul Bhaiya for making this video. And thanks to the team who had made this. Now, rest of the content is similar to what we have been sharing in our workshop. I'll not go over it. So the sum up and then comes the assignment. In assignment, only one question is given here. Detail out 3 activities or projects that you can do to contribute to the harmony in the nature. During the time in the institute, implement at least one of them. It could well be your final year project also. So we can see that global warming and resource depletion are 2 major problems of the current time. Find out are these natural outcomes, are these natural occurrences, or are they due to lack of right understanding in the human being? Do we human beings have a role to play in the nature to further develop the harmony in the nature, or at least not disturb the harmony, to make right utilization of the physical facility? After all, it comes from the rest of the nature only. And to evolve a way of living in harmony with the nature. So this is the assignment, and then we can take up the questions. Now we have lecture 14. It is the sum up. So sum up and future program. Here we have not mentioned any concern. Interaction before the main session and then the sum up part. So this is something similar to what we have been sharing, the transformation required at the level of individual and society. Now here we can list out all the sessions that we went through. So what has been the aspiration and what has been the concern, and how we are trying to understand the underlying harmony. And we are going to talk about this in detail in UHV2. So what are universal human values? So human value is the participation of human being for the harmony in the larger order. So in the self, you can see it is to understand, to develop the understanding of harmony and the feeling of harmony leading to happiness. With the body, it is to ensure health holistically and ensure its right utilization. In the family, to share the feeling of harmony and ensure prosperity. In the society, to participate in the harmony in the society. And in nature existence, to participate in the harmony in the nature. And the program of action is to understand and live in harmony at all levels. Now, this is something similar. At the level of society, this program can be taken up so that from family to the world family, we have a very substantial program to ensure orderliness in the world. Then we can share the timelines and say that this is not something very hard and fast. This is something to be explored, kept open. So this is something new. What will be the next steps? So UHV1 will be followed with regular meetings with your faculty, mentor, and your student buddy. You can also do your internship in social organizations and volunteer for the efforts for the society. This will help in the development in the state as well as the nation. Next semester or next year, a full 1 semester UHV course will be offered with detailed inputs. It is called UHV2. The name is given here. Make sure that the name does have the word ethics, a foundation course in universal human and professional ethics. It is the next step to understand harmony and to live in harmony. That is to develop a holistic human world vision and the skills to live accordingly. Then comes the assignment. So assignment is the points of sharing. So this we can discuss and ask them to prepare their sharing for the next day. So your brief introduction, your key learning, your commitment. And then finally, we go to the last PPT, that is the self-evaluation. So self-evaluation in the closure session. So this UHV orientation was a glimpse of the introductory UHV content. It was quite fulfilling for us to share it with you. We trust the orientation was useful for you for looking at life in its entirety and refining your perspective holistically. Following this orientation, a faculty mentor will be associated with the students in small groups. He or she will be in touch with you every week and for the rest of the time you spend in the institution. A senior student buddy will be identified for small groups of students. He or she will also keep in touch with you regularly. Now, to the extent we are able to do this, it is going to, of course, help the students. In the second year, we'll have to go through this course. You have the opportunity to attend this course, UHV 2. For in-depth study, open electives on UHV may be also available at your university. So with this closing remark, we can ask them to share their reflection. Nice. So this was all from my side.